Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagathitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Te Namaha. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratrishe Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavabhindi ki jai. Namacharya Das Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. So today chapter 15, Purushothama Yoga, Yoga of the Supreme Person. So what is Purushottama? Why Krishna is called as Purushottama? So Prabhupada says there are three kinds of Purushas. That is, one is Uttama Purusha, that is Lord Sri Krishna, and second is Madhyama Purusha, who is Paramatma in our heart, who is in a four-handed form, Vishnu form, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. And then we are called as Adama Purusha because we are the lowest, because we are completely dependent. And Krishna is fully independent. He is a Purna Purusha, right? But we are completely dependent on the Lord. So we are called as Adama Purusha. And Purushottama, he is actually the enjoyer, supreme enjoyer. Krishna is a supreme enjoyer. We also saw in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shantim ricchati. So Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, he is the supreme controller, and he is a eternal friend of all the living entities, and one who understands this attains peace, right? And in yesterday's chapter, we saw the three modes of nature and how these three modes binds us, and sometimes the sattva guna is prominent in us, sometimes the how the three ropes, right, it is pulling the soul. So sometimes we are in the tamoguna is predominant in us, sometimes the sattva guna, and sometimes rajoguna. And then Krishna explains how we can come out of it, and how we have to engage in the devotional service in the shloka 26. Krishna explains that, right? And so in this chapter, we are going to see, like, what is the, how this, the material world is constituted and how it is made, why are we here, and what is keeping us here, why are we not able to go to spiritual world. And Krishna explains how to come out of it, and how one can not just come out of it, get detached from it, but how we can engage ourselves, how one should engage in devotional service to the Lord. So, and also he gives introduction to the spiritual world, right? So let's go to the chapter. So let's pay our obeisances to Sri Radha Govind, ISKCON Mangaluru deities, and to Srila Prabhupada. So based on his teachings, we are having this 18 days course. So, uh, so, uh, so from yesterday's, right? So basically what we understand, oh, something happened. Okay. Yes. So basically, Krishna, when we are attached to this sense gratification, so then it is like people may think I will do sense gratification and also I will do the I will do Krishna consciousness, but that doesn't go uh, together. So somewhere we have to check on our sense gratification. If we are too much involved, then we cannot do Krishna consciousness properly. So it's just like comparison given to the sunshine and Maya. Like Krishna is like a sunshine. When there is a sunshine, there is no darkness. So just like that, if there is a Maya, if we are covered in Maya, then it is not possible to understand Krishna, right? So it is said here, Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion, the influence of external energy will immediately vanish. So what it is taking into Krishna consciousness? Compiling we have to do all the like following the regulative principles and the chanting 16 rounds which Acharya has given. So when all this is done and having the prasad, Krishna prasad, so all this when it is done, then it is said as one is taken in the Krishna consciousness. And also checking on our association also. If we are too much associated with materialistic people, then also it is difficult for us to for our advancement in spiritual life. Shri Bhagavanuvacha urdhvamulam adhashakam ashvattam prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda saveda ved. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branch down, and whose leaves are Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So here the essence of Vedas, Krishna is saying, like if one understands like if this tree, then he is like a knower of the Vedas. So Prabhupada says that when somebody engages in devotional service, there is no need of getting into understanding of the Vedas, because Vedas are very complicated. It is not very easy for a common man to understand. But because Krishna says that Vedaista sarver ahameva Veda, right? That means in all Vedas, like we are going, this comes in the same chapter only. So Krishna has already told that what is the purpose of Vedas? The goal of Vedas is to understand the Lord. So when one is directly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, there is no understand to study the Vedas. So here our material world, right? It is compared to a imperishable banyan tree. What is imperishable banyan tree? The material world. So it is just like the sun rises and sun sets. So, but the sun is always there. It is not like sun is going away somewhere, but only is that we cannot see, right? It is sunset is happening here, but somewhere sun is raised. So sunrise is happening. So only that our vision is blocked, right? We are not able to see, doesn't mean that sun is not there. So similarly, this material world is compared to a imperishable banyan tree, which is always there. Only that like certain time it gets created, certain time it is maintained, and I mean for certain period it is maintained, and certain time it gets annihilated, but it is always there. And Krishna says its roots are upwards. So how do we understand this tree? Like if you can think of like a shadow of a tree in the river, right? It shows like upward down. You all must have seen the tree when there is a tree near to the river. The tree's reflection, right? It is similarly. Krishna says that this material world that we are living here is a reflection of the spiritual world, right? There is a real world, which is the spiritual world, which is God's world. But then this material world is said to be a reflection. It is not true. So we think that everything is true, but everything is perverted here, perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So it is not a real thing, right? So, and the leaves are compared to the Vedic hymns. So how it is like the roots you can see on the top. Usually how the normal tree will be, the roots are on the below. But here the material, actually this is not a real tree. I mean, this is not to be seen. Only we can understand how it is. Like the roots, we cannot make out where it is. So we cannot find out when we were born, or how we came here. Like it is very difficult to understand. You must have all seen the banyan tree, how many roots are there hanging, right? So similarly, so these roots are starting in the top world is the I mean, it starts with Brahmalok. So the roots are here. So it comes down like this. So when we do the pious acts, we go up. So we can go to the higher planets and like that. But when we do more of sense gratification and impious act, we come down to animal life. But pious acts can also make us to, we can become a devata also, like a demigod. So there is a chances of they can people can elevate themselves. So but then these are the results of our fruitive activities, the economic development, religiosity, and these things are said to be the result of our fruitive activity. So more and more when we are entangled in this fruitive activities, there is no chance for us to come out of this material world. So Krishna says that this what material world you're thinking that as your home, right? We are thinking this is our, we are thinking that we are here to enjoy. This is my permanent place. But Krishna says that this is not your real home, but it is just like a rented house, right? So if we are in a rented house, whatever we do, but when I mean, we may decorate it and we may do as we want. But then when the time comes, if the owner asks us to leave, we have to leave that house, right? Just like that, we don't until we are here, our time is there, we are here. But when the time comes to leave, when the death comes, we all have to leave. So we are just like hanging on like this girl, right? It's like upside down. It's not a real thing. So that is why we are not able to find that real happiness in this world. So you can see the reflection here. This is a spiritual world, and this is our material world. So here this is compared like this. The material world is compared to the upside down banyan tree. So this we can see here on the top. This is a spiritual world where we can see here Radha Krishna, and this is a spiritual world. And then there is a river, and then the reflection is here. This is a material world. So imperishable banyan tree, just now I explained how the sunrise and sunset. Okay, I think somebody is unmuted. Please be on mute. Okay, so this material world, which gets created, maintained, and destroyed, can be compared to sun's rising and setting. So this world is like a bridge, right? It's just like a bridge. We have to, why we are here, so that we we have to engage in devotional activities and go back to the spiritual world. It is not like to stay here permanently, but it is just a bridge. We have to what to say? I'm not getting the right word. Reform ourselves. Yes, we have to reform ourselves, and then we have to go back to the spiritual world. So staying in material world. So when we are fruitive activities, when you're bound in the fruitive activities, it is just like a cobweb of a spider, right? It is like you're entangled and we are not able to come out of it. We are doing one after the other activities and getting into a cobweb. It is very difficult to come out. More and more you do, more and more you get caught in the web, right? The insect get caught in the web. Just like that, in this material world, we are, by doing more of fruitive activities, we are getting more and more entangled, and it is getting difficult for us to come out of the life and death. We are getting birth in 84 lakh species. We are going into different species, and we are not able to come out of it. Adaschordvam प्रस्तास्त्स्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्ध विषाय प्रवालः अधश्च मूलानि अनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धानि मनुष्यलोके. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive action of the human society. So we can see the material world this is compared to, and how it is nourished, right? So for a plant to nourish, we need to water it. So this tree grows more and more. How? By the three modes of nature. It is nourished by our three modes of nature. So the small branches of the tree are compared to the object of the senses. The tree has the roots going down, and they are bound to fruitive action of the society. So how do we cut this tree? So Krishna says, the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down the strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that supreme personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. So so how do we come? How to do this? Krishna says, with the knowledge, right? With the knowledge and detachment. So how do we get this knowledge? We need to find a bona fide spiritual master, right? Because the spiritual master knows the truth. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Right? With the humility, one has to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. Otherwise, it is not difficult. It is not easy for us to understand this material world. So with the knowledge and with the detachment, Krishna says that we can come out of this material world. So some comparisons between the spiritual world and the material world. Permanent spiritual world is eternal and permanent. It never gets annihilated, even when material world gets annihilated, right? So material world is real but temporary, because some say that it is Jagat Satya, I mean Jagat Nitya, Brahma Satya, Jagat Nitya, right? Shankaracharya followers, they say like that, but actually it is not true. God's creation is not false, it is true. We can see such like how can we say that this creation is false? It is real, but only thing is it is temporary. It is not Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. Krishna says Ashashvatam, that is temporary. It is not a permanent. And this is true love we can find only in the spiritual world. Okay, but in the material world, that gets perverted to lust. Everything gets converted. When it comes here, it becomes a lust. But there is no true love here. True happiness. Spiritual world has the true happiness, and it is everlasting. But here, Krishna only says tolerate it, right? The happiness and sadness, it's just like a seasons which comes and go. So it is a temporary thing here. The happiness is also not permanent. And in the spiritual world, we have the true relationship, the eternal relationship, and also the permanent relationship, because the Krishna as Paramatma, he's coming with us. Every life after life is accompanying us in our heart, right? As a Paramatma. But for in this material life, the relationships are temporary, and even the friends, families, everything is temporary, because even the family people we have got based on our karma, and we don't know in next life who will be our parents or who will be our brothers, sisters, because only in this life we have this relationship, right? Prabhupada says that it is just like in a ocean, like there are many like we see there are many particles or the straws and these things, they all come together, right? When there is a big wave, they come together, and then when again there is a second wave, it all just separates, like just like that. We come together here now in this life, and we just for next life we don't know who are our next family. So but then Krishna is always with us. That is a true relationship we have. And no sadness in the spiritual world, there is no sadness, it's always happiness. So every time it is bliss, right? Satchit Ananda, the soul and the super soul, they are in Satchit Ananda. But here most of the time it is only sadness. And then four real problems are absent in the spiritual world. Which are they? Janma, Mrityu, and Jara, Vyadi. So but here the four problems are present. So anybody, whatever the advancement in material world we can say, no one can avoid these four real problems. No scientist or ever they are able to find that no one can be made eternal, right? They cannot make it. So everyone who has taken birth has to die, he has to get disease. And we cannot, we don't have this solution in this material world. So there's a story of King Alexander the Great. So when he conquered so many kingdoms, and during at the time of his death, he got some good realizations. So he called his ministers and he said three wishes. He said that my body should be carried by the best doctors. I mean, his doctors only has to carry his coffin. So and then the wealth he had accumulated, the money, gold, precious stones, etc. He said that it has to be on the roads. They have to put them, all that whatever he accumulated, he has to put on the roads. Then the third wish, he said that his hand should be let loose, like it should be hanging outside the coffin. So these three strange wishes he said. And then the minister asked him, so what is the reason you are having this wish? Then he answers them that I want to inform, I mean tell the people, give a message to the people, the lesson, right? So why is he asking best doctor should carry? Because he want to say that whatever you have done, whatever you I mean how much ever you have think you can be how much ever money you have, you can be treated with good doctors and everything, but no one can save you at the finally. Nobody can save you. So don't waste your human life, right? Don't waste your human life just behind the sense gratification things. So utilize for the right purpose. That is why he want to tell this message. And then next he says all the wealth to be scattered on the it should be given away, or it has to be whatever he has accumulated, it should be put on the on the path of his graveyard. So then for that he says that that is because we cannot carry whatever we have earned, right? How much ever property or whatever, nothing is coming to save. He cannot be permanent, he cannot live forever, right? Nothing is able to save him. And then his hands, why he's asking that? Because to show the world that whatever I have earned, whatever name or whatever, but nothing he's able to carry it to the next life. He has to that he wants to show, I have come in the empty hand, I am going in the empty hand. So it's a big lesson for all of us. Like, why are we engaged so much in the activities which is not going to go get us anywhere, right? In the material life, whatever we are doing, we are going to leave it here. But what is going with us is the only spiritual knowledge which we develop, and which the for the soul what we nourish, it is going to be life after life with us, right? Whatever knowledge you are learning now from Gita, so this will be there. Krishna will not. So how you all came to this Krishna consciousness or to the Bhagavad Gita? Because you have done some punya in the previous lives. That is why we have all got into this association. Otherwise it is not easy to get association just like that. So it is just like you have done something 20% in previous life, so it starts from 21% in spiritual life. But this is not same with the material life, right? So these are the problems we have. So we have birth, and then these all the life stages, different stages of life, right? We we study, and then we get some good designations, and then a person get married, and then he has a kid, then he goes to job, and then then he has to earn for his family, and finally he becomes old, then he gets diseased, and finally he dies, then the soul leaves the body, right? So what is the true association is with the Lord. Nirmana moha ni, Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha dvandvair vimuktaha sukha dukha samnair gachanti amuda padam avyayam tat. So now Arjuna wants to know, so how do we get that knowledge and detachment, right? So Krishna says that how how is the how can a person uh, get that true knowledge, so how he will be, how one should be. So those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from dualities of happiness and distress, and unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the supreme person, attain to that eternal kingdom. So free from false prestige. So we should not have, this comes from the identification of oneself with the body, right? The false ego. And false prestige makes us believe that I know everything. So even to the extent that people do not believe when God comes to these worlds, right? I mean, they don't accept that Krishna is Lord, like Duryodhana, Shishupala, and all of them. They never accepted that Krishna is Lord. Not only them, now also in materialistic life, in this world, like people who are highly educated or in the material qualification, they feel that they know everything and there is no such God. I mean, whatever I do, I mean, it is everything is in my hand, right? So that is a false prestige, like how Duryodhana had. So he didn't feel like he chose Narayani Sena instead of the Lord. So he was a big fool, right? So and then we are in an illusion. So we think that whatever is happening, I am the person responsible for everything. I am controller. I am the enjoyer, right? That is called. But we are not. That is called as we are in illusion and false association. Whatever we have association in the material world is not really the true association. So all these things are the real knowledge. And then how do we understand this? By oneself surrendering to supreme, the person through a spiritual master, because then we understand that I don't know anything, right? What is accepting of spiritual master? Then we are obeying his orders. It is like we are not using our mind there. So we are accepting whatever the spiritual master is guiding, because he knows the truth. So Krishna explains here in the shloka about the spiritual world. So he has explained now about the material world. So now he's telling how about the inviting us to the spiritual world. Na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakah yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon or by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So Krishna's world is self-effulgent. There are many planets in Vaikuntha. Prabhupada says many planets are self-effulgent. That is coming from the effulgence of the Goloka, right? Goloka, Vrindavana is the top planet in the Vaikuntha planets. So they are all self-illuminated. It comes from Krishna's body effulgence. They don't need a sun and moon, just like how we need it here in material world. Sun and moon are not required. Krishna says it is not required, nor the fire or electricity is required in the spiritual world. So this spiritual world. We can have 5 rasas with the Lord. Like you can be like there are dasya rasa. Sorry, first comes the shanta rasa. Like this shanta rasa, the animals like the cow, peacock, deer, they serve the Lord in the shanta rasa, right? So and then comes the dasya rasa, where like a servant, we serve the Lord, dasya rasa, like Hanuman. And then comes the vatsalya rasa. Vatsalya rasa is like a so Krishna is there like eternally. He is there in the this form, like a baby form, also to Mother Yashoda. So every time, every day, the pastimes happen there, the eternal pastimes of the Lord, like how it happens in Vrindavan, right? So this is Vatsalya Rasa. And then Sakya Rasa, like with his friends, cowherd boys. Krishna has the same. So those pastimes also happen. And then the highest is the Madhurya Rasa. So with the Gopikas and Radharani. So that is the highest. Mamaivansho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha manasashtani indriyani prakriti-stani karshati. The living entities in this world, conditioned world, are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include mine. So why is Krishna saying that you are all my part? Right? Krishna is telling you are all my fragmental parts. So he is our rich father, but we are here somewhere. We are like a poor. We are here. We don't have anything. I mean, uh, 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 we are actually struggling for everything in this material world. But Krishna is if we go to our eternal Father, then we have everything, right? Krishna says you are all fragmental part. Just like if my if my hand is a part of this body, right? If it is not supporting it in the body, then it is of no use of this hand. Just like that, if we are not in I mean, if we are not in the connecting to the Lord, then it's of no use. The life has our life does not have any value. So Krishna says he knows that you are struggling because he's the creator of this world. He knows that we are struggling here, right? This is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So how do we understand? We are just like a in the ocean of the water is very salty, right? We are just like a drop. So in the quality we are same, but the quantity we are very minute, right? So even fire, right? Living entity, same in quality but not in quality. So just like there is a fire, so there is a spark, right? Spark also is a fire, but it is very minute quantity. It is not. It does not have so much heat or I mean, it cannot do anything without much, right? It just evaporates in the air. Spark. So Krishna is Satchit Ananda. So Sat means eternal, Chit is knowledge, Ananda is the pure bliss. So we also have this as a soul. We are also Satchit Ananda, but since we have forgot our identity now, so we are associating, we are thinking that we are body, so we are not able to find that real bliss. Shariram yad avapnoti yacchapi utkramatishvaraha grihitvaitani samyati vayurgandan ivashayat. The living entity in the material world carries its different conception of life from one body to another as the air carries aroma. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits his take another. So, this is again making it very clear that it is not like there is a life. Like people think that this is a one life. Think about this life. I will enjoy this life and I'll go. But Krishna says, no, right? This material world carries its different conception of life, like whatever activities we do and whatever desires I have, so accordingly I'll be getting one body to another. No necessary that in this life I have become a human being, that I have to get again next human body. No, I can be animal also. Based on our the karma I choose, I can get any body. So it is just like Krishna is comparing that to like aroma. Air carries aroma. Like when you pass through a garden, there is a nice rose garden, you can smell the rose, right? How we smell that. But then it just after some distance, if there is some different smell, it just goes away. Just like that, we take a one body after another. So just like this, how this aroma is taking him. Yes, just carry us. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of object. So See here. See how even the elephant enjoys in its own way, right? The baby elephant. So every living entity, right? It enjoys in a certain way. So whatever, so Krishna is telling here. Okay. So based on that, see, Krishna says that we get certain type of ear, eyes, tongue. So all the living entities based on our the I mean the desire that we carry, based on that we get a next life, and group with mind. So every living entity also has a mind and all these senses, right? उत्क्रमन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of mode of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. So foolish people will not understand, right? We usually we think that the body is gone, then it is the end of life, right? I mean, we never think about that there is a next life also. So how jnana chakshusha, so one who is trained in knowledge, one who understands, one who studies the Bhagavad Gita, one who understands the knowledge, one who surrenders to a bona fide spiritual master, only with that knowledge one will be able to understand that we are not this body, we are soul, right? Vasamsi jeenani, in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 we see Vasamsi jeenani yatha vihaya अन्यानि सम्यात् नवानि सम्य वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि सम्याति अन्यानि सम्याति नवानि देहि यथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि नवानि सम्याति अन्यानि सम्याति नवानि देहि. Means just like how we change our clothes, right? The soul changes the body. When the clothes are torn and useless, we change our clothes. Just like that, the soul, when it decides that it is the body is of no use, it just changes the body. So this is understandable only when is trained in knowledge, one who reads the Bhagavad Gita, one who understands it from the proper source. So just like there is a mechanic, right? When if our car we have some problem with our car, and we see ourselves, we'll not be able to figure it out what exactly is the problem. But when we go to mechanic, he can fix in a minute, I mean very short time he will fix the problem. Just like that, it is not easy for us to ourselves, like mental speculation, it is not possible. We have to understand from a spiritual master. यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्ति आत्मनि अवस्थितं यतन्तो अपि अकृतात्मनो नैनं पश्यन्ति अचेतसः. The endeavoring transcendentalist who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those whose mind are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. So with the mental speculations, one cannot understand the Lord. So the Gnan is they take millions of lives for because they want to understand on their own their mental speculations. They will not be able to understand. But like Arjuna, he understood. So everything, whatever Krishna you are telling, I take it as it is, because he is the supreme truth. And also whatever the sages have told, I accept it, he says. So in the same manner, if somebody accepts, only then this Bhagavad Gita knowledge can be understood. Otherwise, we have to have that belief in our shastras, right? Only then, for those people, that person, the who is situated in self-realization, he can see all the things clearly. He can understand why I am going through so many lives. Why am I facing? What is the reason? How do I come out of this? the life and birth, I mean, birth and death cycle, life cycle, right? गामविश्य च भूतानि धारयामि अहम् ओजसा पुष्णामि चौषधि सर्वः सोम भूत्वा Rasatmakaha. I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So Krishna is explaining here that how he is maintaining this world, right? How is he maintaining? How is he taking care of the each and every living entity? So all the planets that are in the orbit is because of the energy of Krishna. If there is no energy, we cannot be staying in the space. Just like if somebody, like when there is a soul, I mean when there is a life in the body, we can swim, right? Otherwise, what will happen? You just the if when there is no life, it just sinks, means it will come up after it gets decomposed and all that. But otherwise, it just goes inside immediately when the person dies, or I mean if he falls into water, right? So but then when soul is there, he can so just like that, the all the energies, because of the Krishna's energies, everything is in place. So Krishna says in chapter 7, Matta parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. Everything is holding in place because of my energy, just like a pearl necklace. When we see a pearl necklace, we cannot understand, we cannot see the thread which is holding the pearls together. Just like that, though we cannot see the Lord, it is his energy which is keeping the everything in place. And also Krishna says that the taste of the vegetables that is coming, it is from the moon, right? This is even the scientist does not know. We all think that because of the sun we are able to make do the vegetables are grown and all that. But then Krishna says here that I become the moon and supply. Otherwise we will not have taste in those vegetables. Whatever we are able to relish, that is the gift of the Lord. We are able to taste the food, and the taste is given through the moon by the Lord. Because Krishna, I become moon. Because he is the Prabhupada says that Krishna is the cold eye, and the sun is the moon is the cold eye, and sun is the hot eye of the Lord. Aham Vaishwan वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनं देहमाश्रिताः प्राणापान samayuktaः pachami annam chaturvidam. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kind of foodstuff. See, we can understand how much we are dependent on the Lord, even for digestion. Krishna, without Krishna, it is not possible. Like even in the Ayurveda, right? Prabhupada says that even the Ayurveda says that there is certain fire required for the digestion. If that fire is not working properly, then the digestion doesn't work. Then we need to take treatments for it, right? So Krishna says that I am that fire. So I am the fire, and also I become the air of life, outgoing and incoming, and he's helping to digest the food. So much we are dependent on the Lord. So what are the four kind of foods? There are some food we drink, right? We can drink. Some are like chewed, some are licked, and some are sucked. So only there are four type of foods that we eat, and Krishna knows everything. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matta smritirgnanamapohanam cha vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta kritveda vid eva chaham. So here Krishna is explaining not only that in not only maintaining the universe and being the fire of digestion, but I am also present in the subtle body, right? Vedaischa sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivisho. He's there in heart, and what is he doing? He is the one who is giving us smriti, the memory, jnanam, the knowledge, and apohanam, the forgetfulness. Everything I am only. It is coming from me. So Krishna says, I am seated in the everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and I am the knower of Vedas. So here the devotees are cooking. So how are they able to put the proper measurements? How much salt? Uh, uh, how much the spices you have to put, or everything? How and we cook at home. How do we get that remembrance? Or sometimes we forget to put the salt, right? All this Krishna only gives us. So Krishna says, I am giving that remembrance. I am giving the knowledge, right? Whatever we are able to recall, or somebody able to remember very the children, they know the shlokas very well, and these remembrance are given by the Lord, the knowledge and the forgetfulness. So we life after life, we don't remember everything. Why? Krishna does not give us. He just gives us the remembrance, how much ever is required for us, not everything, right? So Krishna also maintainer of subtle body and supplier of the knowledge. And he is also the compiler of Vedas. Krishna says, I am the compiler of Vedas and I am the knower of the Vedas, because Krishna is the one who has made it. So what should we understand? So never miss the focus of on Krishna, right? We get entangled in this material life, but then we forget. So how do we keep ourselves remembering Krishna? Okay, somebody can post in chat. How do you think? How can we always remember Krishna? Prabhupada says, all never always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. But how do we do that? You can post your comment. How do we do that? By chanting. Yes, very nice. Chanting. Yes, by chanting, we can always be connected, right? Navavida Bhakti, very nice. Yes, yes, by Krishna consciousness. Yes, Krishna consciousness means by chanting and yes, performing the Navavida Bhaktis. So never ever we should forget Krishna, because we need to be so much gratitude towards the Lord, because Krishna is explaining how much he's doing for us, right? We don't understand his importance. So Krishna is explaining in there are two classes of beings, the fallible and infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is infallible. So they are called as Kshara and Akshara. So we are all Kshara, fallible, like we are bound to fall. So we make mistakes, right? We have the four defects. So what are the four defects? Somebody can put in chat. Yes, you can post in chat. What are the four mistakes that we conditioned souls have? Weak senses, yes, imperfect senses. Good. No, the not that one. The four defects of a conditioned soul. Imperfect senses. One is correct. Weak senses means imperfect senses. Yes. Like if somebody asks us who is there in this room, like we can't. I mean, we can only tell. Like for me, I can tell only I am there, but there are many microorganisms which I cannot see, right? So we tend to make mistakes. Very nice. And then cheating propensity, very good. And then the one last one, we are illusioned by Maya, right? We think we get illusion. So that is like we consider the rope as a snake, right? Or in the like half-eaten apple we saw, like the other side we can't make out. So we are illusion. So that is why we are called as fallible. But in the spiritual world, they are all infallible. They never commit any mistakes. They are all perfect human beings, right? They never do any mistakes. They don't have the cheating propensity, and their senses are perfect. So they don't do mistakes. So these are all, they are spiritual beings. So Krishna says, besides these two, there is greatest living personality, the supreme soul, the imperishable Lord himself, who has entered the three worlds and in maintaining them. So besides these two, Krishna is above them. He is transcendental. He is above the fallible and infallible. So that is the Supreme Lord who is maintaining the three worlds. So because I am transcendental, beyond both fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. So Krishna, here again, this is like Krishna is telling, Krishna is the highest. It is not like people think that Krishna is some light or anything. He is above the fallible and infallible, and he is the greatest. So here we understand the Bhagavan realization is the highest. So, and he celebrated not only in this world, even in the spiritual world, because everybody goes to the Lord for any problems. We know, like whenever there is a problem, whenever Krishna takes the avatar because to save his devotees, right? Yes, what is the shloka? Anybody can tell from the chapter 4? There are two shlokas. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृज यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. Right? Thank you. And then one more, pavitranaya sadhuna
vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So Krishna says that he comes whenever. So that is he is the. So we understand from this shloka that Krishna is the supreme Lord. He is the Bhagavan is the highest realization of the Lord. So these are the devatas who meditate on the Lord when they want to see him, right? And this is Lord Shiva always meditating on Lord Ram. So how do one understand a person who has understood the essence of Vedanta Sutra? So Krishna says, Yo mam evam asammudho janati purushottamam sa sarva vidbhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So how do we identify a person if he has understood the essence of Veda? Because all Vedas, what is the essence of Vedas? To understand the Lord. So he engages directly, and Prabhupada says that bhajati word is very important. Bhajati means the worship of the Supreme Lord, right? Engaging in the devotional service. So he, without doubt, he does not have any mental speculation. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatpar sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha shilanam bhaktiruttamam. So that person, he without any mental speculations, he engages himself in the service of the Lord. He gives up all the mental speculations. He don't have any desire other than to serve the Lord. So that by seeing that we can understand, like Prabhupada, right? So he was completely devoted to in the serving of the Lord. So such person is said to be have understood the Vedanta Sutra. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam maya nagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat krita krityascha bharata. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So there are three confidential knowledge, right? What are they? First is that first confidential knowledge that Bhagavad Gita. From Bhagavad Gita, we understand that I am not the body, I am the soul. Second confidential knowledge is that I am, there is Paramatma in our heart, right? Krishna says that I am there as Paramatma in the heart. So, and then the third is that there is a spiritual world, right? Krishna shows in this chapter that there is a spiritual world and there is an eternal past tense which happens in the spiritual world. So these are the confidential part which we understand of the Vedic scriptures. So whoever understands this will become wise and endeavors will know perfection, right? He completely engages in the service of the Lord. So one has to start with the chanting of the Hare Krishna, right? I'll just unmute you all. We can chant together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare. Thank you.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
yes. So that is why we should never doubt our shastras, right? We have to accept it, the Shruti Praman. And Krishna says that if we doubt this, we will not go anywhere. We will never be able to understand the mystery of Bhagavad Gita, nor we will be able to come out of this cycle of life, death and birth and death, right? So one should never doubt the Lord nor the Shastras. Prabhupada says, if one studies the Vedas without finding the goal of Vedas, that is Krishna, he is simply wasting his valuable time. So many people, they want to study different Vedas, and they say like, I want to study different Puranas, Vedas and all this. So then end of the day, and they engage in the all fruitive activities, whatever Vedas prescribe, because 90% of Vedas is a karma kanda. Like you do this, you get that benefit. So if somebody engages in that and does not really understand the purpose of Vedas, it is Krishna, then he is actually wasting his valuable time, because the precious human life we are just wasting. We don't know how many days we will live, right? So we have to make best use of it. So chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Thank you. Short chapter, so we completed early. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'll unmute you all. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Mataji, I have a small
Yes.
Mataji.
Ah,
Hare Krishna
yes.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, our goal should be like go to the Krishna adobe. Why? I'm in the sense Goloka.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yes.
there, after going over there again, because we will take a human form only, na there actually, because
No.
Sri Krishna himself is in the, I mean, what do you call Shamasundara form over there? That is. So
Yeah,
again,
we have the human form, but it is transcendental body. Krishna's body is transcendental. We saw no in chapter 4. His body is not like us. It is a spiritual body. There is no difference between the senses and mind. We have like our body, the soul we have, and then it is covered with the subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and ego. And then again, it is covered with the gross body, with the which is made of the 5 gross elements, right? Material elements, earth, water, ether, fire, air. But Krishna's body is not like that. It is Sachidananda, and there is no difference between mind, senses like that. And when we go to spiritual world, there won't be Paramatma in our heart. Why? Because the Lord Himself is present there. The Bhagwan is there, right? We see directly interact. We can interact. We get a spiritual body, Prabhuji. We get a spiritual body. We don't know like whether we are male or female, but we have some gender is there, and we have a form also. Yes, human like form, but it is spiritual form. It is not like this made of material elements, because this body perish, right? This will we are not the same like we were as a kid. So every day the body changes, and then we get old and we die. So that body is not like that. It is spiritual, completely spiritual. Like Krishna, he was like a 16-year-old in the battlefield. He was actually around 90s that time, 90-year-old almost. right? So it's a spiritual. He was like, he's a Navayavanamcha, right? He's always a Navayavana. So it's a
Yes,
spiritual body.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Because of the qualities of Krishna Paramatma is something like, as you said, Navayavana body like that. So even we also get, I mean, is there any picture in our books, in our Sahitya of ISKCON, so that we can, I mean, is there any picture like that, Mataji?
No, they look like that only. You saw the pictures, no? Like in the different rasas, how the devotees look. They just look like us only, like Krishna only. I mean, same like human beings only. But only thing is the body is spiritual. It doesn't get deteriorate like the material body.
Then one more small, if you don't mind, Mataji,
Yeah.
actually, I'm very much confused. Why? Because if that is the ultimate, then then and there itself it is stopped in the sense. So there is no further goal at all. So after going into Goloka,
Yeah.
then there itself is the
Yes.
end of our.
Yeah. Krishna says Tadgatvana Nivartante, right? I mean, there somebody goes, will not come back to Krishna's world. If we go to Goloka, again we will not be born here.
Okay.
We won't come back again.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So just like, I mean, in our material world, I mean, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, all those are demigods who are looking after us. These are, so there also, I mean, same sort of universe would be there, or it is
Yeah,
just to be.
Prabhuji, if you can recall on chapter 8, I showed you the Goloka chart, right? You can just see in your free time. So there is it is clearly explained how the universe is like. So on the top there is a Goloka, and then comes the there is a Vaikunta planet, right? There is a Ayodhya, and then below comes a Vaikunta planet, and then comes the material world where Brahma's 14 planetary system are there, and we are in somewhere in the middle, right? Like heavenly planet on the top, and below we are having the lower planet, and in the middle we have the earthly planet. So that is there. So all different devatas are there in different, like Vaikunta, Vishnu himself. Okay, Vishnu and Krishna not much difference. Even Vishnu can give liberation, Krishna can give liberation. Only thing is there are totally 64 qualities in Krishna, and Vishnu 60 qualities. Lord Shiva is 55, and Brahma is 50 qualities. So what are the four qualities that extra in Krishna is Venu Madhurya, okay, Venu Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, Bhakta Madhurya, and Leela Madhurya. So the pastimes that Krishna has, right? Not any of the his. I mean, he's a original person, and then others are like none of the incarnations have that, right? That is why the four extra qualities. So there are all different demigods are there also.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Santoshi
Hare
Suri
Krishna.
Mataji, any question? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
All my questions are always answered. When I
Oh,
sit for the class, there are so many
okay.
questions.
Oh, really?
After the class, more questions to be asked. Thank you so much. Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
oh, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you
Hare
so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. So any other questions? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Okay. So a humble suggestion. Yeah, sure. You can unmute and speak, Prabhu. Rhythm Bharatwaj. You can kindly unmute and speak. Please do session on Goloka chart. Actually, I am not an expert in that. I know very little. So, okay, let me, I will check on this, okay? I will put this word that devotees are requesting. We'll see. Maybe, NLD Prabhuji will be able to, yeah, because it will clear many doubts of people. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I will surely take this advice. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Okay, any other questions or no? Then we can close the session. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नमाचार्य रदास ठाकुर की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा, थैंक यू एवरीवन।
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna,
हरे
Mataji.
कृष्णा,
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्णा,
Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा।
Krishna.
थैंक यू सो
Krishna,
मच।
Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा,
Hare
हरे कृष्णा,
Krishna,
हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू।
Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्ण,
Thank you so
हरे
much.
कृष्ण, हरे कृष्ण, हरे कृष्ण माताजी, हरे कृष्ण,
Hare Krishna, Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण,
Krishna
हरे कृष्ण,
Krishna, Hare Hare.
हरे हरे, हरे